Hello everybody, this is Jasmina, and in this video I am going to talk about the pillar strength, especially as it refers to the Bazi wealth, what it says there. This is important for it. It actually is for everything, but this will tell you which one of your pillars is the strongest pillar. And you might actually have all equally strong. I suppose that's possible. Um, it certainly is possible. But you'll have to see what you have, and this will give you a guide of where you have a most potential for gaining wealth. Now, one key to understanding this, and this is one of the keys that you need to understand your wealth capacity. And I have a separate video about wealth capacity, so don't freak out. It's coming. Now, there are many people without wealth capacity or without wealth stars that do become rich, and that's usually attributed to luck, and luck does exist. So now I can't tell you 100% that this works because I haven't analyzed really anybody's Bazi chart but my own, and some things don't seem to quite jibe with what they say, but you know I have never had it professionally done, so I don't know. Now, it is also said that some charts missing the wealth capacity or wealth stars simply are not readable for wealth. That is, somehow wealth is just, I mean, it doesn't mean that you don't have wealth. It just means that your chart is not guiding you to finding the wealth. So people with weak, strong, or balanced charts can all become wealthy. So it does not depend on your chart balance. How smooth your life goes can depend on your chart balance. And the closer you are to a balanced chart, the better you tend to be, or let's say, the smoother your life tends to be. Now, seeing a strong wealth capacity and the presence of wealth stars is basically the key to understanding your wealth outlook. And this is in the traditional sense. And that's all I'm ever going to cover, I think, is the traditional one. I don't know what the new age ones might do, but I don't typically do anything super new age. So, this is the key. You need to understand the 12 stages of growth. And they are in this cycle. I've almost always seen it start with birth, and then you have bath, youth, officer, prosper, weaken, sickness, death, grave, reset, conceive, and nurture. So this is, not everybody calls this by the same name in English, but the Chinese is consistent. So and almost always they start with birth. Maybe somebody doesn't, but um, traditionally that's where it starts. And you look in your pillar and you see, now I'm only covering, and this one I'm only covering the wood. I'm going to show you the other elements in a second, but it's complicated enough that I thought I'd show it element wise. So you could be a yang wood or a yin wood in any pillar, and you're going to look up for your animal sign in that pillar, and that will tell you what stage of growth that particular pillar is in. So these in general, the ones in green, are considered to be relatively positive. The reset is maybe a little closer to neutral than positive, but it's still looked upon as not so bad. It is the weakest of the good ones, though. Prosper is the strongest, and as you go forward, it gets stronger until you get to the prosper, and then it declines until you get to the grave. So the grave is the most negative one, and the weakness is the least weakens is the least negative one. So you just have an idea what's going on. Now, if you want to read the descriptions of these 12 stages, you can just Google Imperial Harvest 12 stages of growth, and it'll take you to that page pretty easily. Or you can try to copy this URL. So, one of the most important things to look at is the pillar that has, if you have a pillar with wealth storage or well stars, you do want to see what kind of strength that, or what stage of growth that is in. And if it's in the prosperous or the positive ones, the ones in green on the last slide, that means that the pillar is strong, or at least it's not weak or not bad. It's good, and of course, if it's prosper, this is the best one. But officer is very close, and then it kind of goes down all the way to reset, which is the weakest of the good ones. So you've probably heard this statement before. It's fairly common. Yin is born from the death of yang, and yang is born from the death of yin. So if we look at the yang element, which is yang wood here, and we go to the death, this is the horse. Well, this is where the birth of the yin element starts. And this is consistent. It will be different animal signs. It'll start in a different location, but this will be common. And if we go over to the death of the yin, this is the pig, well, that's where the birth of the yang starts. So this is very consistent with all the sets of elements. Now this one goes in the forward direction. So you have, if you want to start with a rat, which is easy, rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and then we go to pig. This one goes in the backwards direction. So if we find rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, pig, and we go back to the rat. So this is the pattern it goes in. And we're, again, really worried about this when it comes to what does this represent in your Bazi? How strong, I mean, this is where we find how strong that pillar is. So this is for fire. So now we have a different set. It doesn't start with the pig, it starts with the tiger. Doesn't matter. There is a pattern to it. It's okay. Again, this is the rooster. This is where the yin fire starts. And the death of the yin is the tiger, where this is the birth. And again, this is in the forward direction. This is in the forward direction backwards. It's in the backwards direction. So it's as simple as that. And you can take a screenshot if you want, so that you can get these things. Now, if you know anything, or if you've been listening to various other things, you will know that fire and earth are kind of together in many things, even in feng shui. So for the earth, since it kind of doesn't have its own thing in the 24 mountains, it's going to take on the same thing as the fire. So these are the same animal signs that you see for fire. So again, take a screenshot if you need to. So this is the element of metal. And so now we start with a snake rather than with the tiger, which was last time. And again, snake and snake, the death. We have the rat here, we have the rat here, that crisscrossy thing happens. This is the forward direction. This one goes in the backwards direction. So it kind of goes around in a loop, you might think. And again, if you need to, take a screenshot of this. And then finally, we have the water. So this one happens to start with the monkey, and the death is at the rabbit. And there's the rabbit to the monkey right here. So again, the crisscross, forward, and then goes backwards. So again, if you need to, take a screenshot. You're going to be looking at all 4 of your pillars in your natal chart, and you can also look at your luck pillar. So each pillar will have its own level of these 12 stages of growth, this cycle. And the ones that are positive, the 8 ones that are positive, they're considered on the strong side. Of course, the prosper is the strongest and the reset is the weakest, and it goes from the weak around to the strong. So you have an idea. Um, Anything from youth, officer, prosper is usually quite strong. The other ones are like weaker until where you have the reset where it's barely positive. Now the animal signs are broken into three groups, and this is also becomes interesting or not interesting. This is useful because this talks about how we decide what is the wealth storage, which animal signs have wealth storage. So there are four animal signs that are called the four growth animal signs. They're tiger, snake, monkey, and pig. These elements start out a season. So the start of spring is tiger, the start of summer is snake, the start of autumn is monkey, and the start of winter is pig. So that's pretty simple. And it's the start of a cycle, so that's why it's considered growth. Then there are the four cardinal ones, which are in the north, south, east, west directions. And I think everybody, well, I know these by heart, but anyway, uh, these are, you've got the rat, rabbit, horse, and rooster. And this is north, east, south, and west. And then you have the four storage or the four tombs or the four graveyards. They're given a lot of different names. And they are the ox, the dragon, the goat, and the dog. Now, these are all earth animals. And earth is where you store stuff, according to Bazi. So um, these will be where your wealth storage will be located. Now, you may not have this in your natal chart, but you may have it in a luck chart, in the luck pillar. So this can tell you what is the time where you have the biggest ability to gain wealth. And these four storage are the locations of that wealth capacity, the locations in a Bazi chart. So if we go to my chart, and now I'm going to add the DE because I've discussed this in part one. And this one is, uh, this means that this energy is reduced, probably cut in half. But we still have to see how strong these pillars are. So let's start with the year. So we have yin, earth, and so let's see, where does the pig fall? It falls right here. So this is given the level of conceive. So this is actually the second weakest one. So it's not super strong, but it's also not super weak. I mean, it's better than reset, but that's about it. The second one is quite interesting. We have yin, fire, and we have the ox, which gives us the grave. So not only do we have DE, we also have grave here. Now, these don't necessarily go together because this DE depends on my day pillar. This grave depends on the month pillar, and there's no definite lock between the two. So you could have DE without grave, you could have, I think, and you could have grave without DE. That's my thinking. I mean, I haven't tested it, but at least it should be possible. Now, when it comes to the day, this is officer. So that's certainly a lot stronger than conceive because the next one is prosper, which is the strongest. So this is quite strong. And then the last one, the water horse is in the conceive also. So it should be pretty easy for you guys to understand which one of my pillars is the strongest and which one's the weakest. So obviously the day pillar is the strongest. So that basically means I have to rely on myself to get things done because I'm not going to have it done for me, at least when it comes to wealth, because there's no I tell you right now, there is no wealth element here. Um, that'll come in the next set of videos. This is very weak, if not zero. I mean, this is extremely, extremely weak. And if you remember what the four storage ones are, the ox, the dragon, the goat, and the dog, this is the only one I have that can be storage, and it is extraordinarily weak. So, I mean, it's there, but it's not a strong storage location. So that's basically it. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. More is to come, and it'll make a little more sense in the next set of videos. And again, if you got questions, go ahead and ask either on my email or through a comment. Thanks again.